Hey y'all, hope you're all doing well. Khris here. So it's time to answer the 10 questions. Here goes. One. I started playing when I was 5 years old. Actually, it was a little bit before that. When I was 3 and 4, my mom tells me that I was pulling pots and pans out of her cupboards and I was banging on them. And when I was 5, I started taking piano lessons. Then I switched to percussion lessons later on in life. So then I was doing just percussion. And then I went back and started playing piano again. Then I got a degree, 2 degrees in percussion while playing piano at the same time. And I spend most of my time nowadays playing piano. As I mentioned before, I play piano, and which is technically a percussion instrument, and anything that that is a percussion. I have been paid to play the following instruments: snare drum, bass drum, xylophone, marimba, bells, piano, cuckoo whistle, chimes, synthesizer, a lion's roar, newspaper, a whip, cowbells, castanets, tambourine, triangles, guitar, but don't tell anybody I play guitar because I'm not that good, and bass. So there you go. Number 3. So many years ago, I went to a club, and I was with a group and we were supposed to be playing. We showed up to set up, nobody was there. The sound guy was supposed to meet us there, wasn't there. We were supposed to go on in an hour or so, and nobody was around. So we went on the stage, some of the band members started setting up the sound equipment. There was a snake on stage, and there was a soundboard built into the club. So I went back to the soundboard to see how everything was pre-wired. Because most clubs have certain inputs, you know, like input 1's usually bass drum and so on and so forth. So I wanted to see how the board was pre-wired so we could start inputting things on our end to help move things along. So as I'm looking at the board, the owner of the club comes out from his office somewhere, and he had obviously been doing a bunch of coke, and he was paranoid as heck, and he went off on me, and he threatened to beat me up. He thought I was gonna try to ruin all of his equipment. I said, hey, I'm just trying to help you out because nobody's here to do our thing, and it was a whole big scene. So basically, I went back to the stage, packed up all my equipment. Only time in my life I've never played a gig, and I told the rest of the band I'm not gonna play for this owner at all. Have no desire to. You guys can do the gig without me. And I left. It's hard to quantify what is the best one. I've had so many wonderful experiences, and I feel so fortunate in my life to have performed and played with so many different people. I cherish all of them. So to put one on top of the other is too difficult for me and wouldn't necessarily be fair because they all have, you know, different things. As far as a listening experience, when I was young, I used to go and you know, I went to concerts just like everybody else did, and one of my favorite concerts that I've been to, a band I've seen several times, was Rush. They're just such a great group and great musicians, and I just had wonderful experiences as a young kid seeing them and into adulthood. And it so happens, I got to see their last tour, and I got to take my son, Ryland, who has become a fan of Rush, to their last tour, which was, I think, their second or third to last show ever that they ever played. And the look on his face when the screen went up and the music came on, and those three guys, the three guys that he'd been listening to and he had started to sort of idolize himself, were playing, and he could see it happening live on stage, and he could feel the energy from that, and the 19,000 people that were in the stadium at the time. Oh man, that to me was like one of the coolest experiences I've had, you know, and actually that goes into the dad experience too, but it was pretty cool, and to see what music could happen. Secret musical crush. Beyonce. I'm not gonna say anything else. Beyonce. Wow. Again, this one's hard for me. Biggest musical influence. There's so many people that I've been influenced by in my life. You know, when I was a little kid, it was like the guy at the county fair playing drums, and they played Johnny Be Good, and I was like, whoa, that's cool. It was the marching band when they went by on a parade when I was 6 or 7, and I'm listening to the drum cadences. It's like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. I want to do that someday. When I was older, it was some of the rock bands of the days that I was listening to, and I was able to go and see some of them. As I've gotten older, it's been, you know, some of the jazz greats that I've listened to and tried to emulate in my playing. One guy who doesn't get a lot of credit, who I've heard play now several times and I've actually met, is Bruce Hornsby. Oh, if you've never heard him play live, you should. He's a master, and he puts on a great show, and everybody knows the song That's Just the Way It Is, but he does way more than that, and I encourage you to check him out. Great player. So I'll stop right there. Guilty pleasure. What is my guilty pleasure? Okay, here's one. This might go back into like one of my favorite musical experiences, so it's kind of a guilty pleasure. When I used to play opera, I played with Arizona Opera for 20 years, and I was the principal percussionist. As a percussionist with the opera, you don't play a lot of notes. And I created this, I don't know, a term. It's called PPV. Oh wait, no, PPN. And the PPN was pay per note. And I could figure out how much money I made per every single note that I played. Some operas I might play 3 or 4 notes, so the pay per note was pretty darn good. And the poor violinist, you know, they would have books that would be like 40, 50 pages long, and I might have 4 pages. Granted, that wasn't every opera, but there were a lot. So my favorite one was my favorite PPN gig, Guilty Pleasure. I played the first note of the opera, the last note of the opera. I played the first note with big snare drum roll. I went downstairs after I played the note. I was in a tuxedo, I got out of it. I dressed in street clothes. I was in downtown Phoenix. I got out of my street clothes. I walked across the street to the basketball arena. I went in, paid, watched an entire basketball game. It was my high school's alma mater, Moon Valley High School in Phoenix, and Richard Jefferson. If you guys are basketball fans, he was a big U of A guy. He was playing on that team. I watched them win the state championship. I came back to the Opera Hall after they won, went back downstairs, got back in my tuxedo, went back into the pit, played the last note of the opera. Guilty pleasure. What music can't I stand? I can't stand any music that is done poorly. It doesn't matter what music it is. If it's not executed well, I just can't stand it. And I generally like pretty much every music. There's some music I don't want to listen to a lot. I don't want to listen to thrash metal very often. Honestly, there's a lot of hip hop and rap that You know, I don't want to listen to a lot of it, but I appreciate it when it's done well. And I could probably name artists in almost every genre that, like, those guys do it well. So how would I describe my talent, musical talent, in 3 words? Not there yet. Almost got it. Still working on it. You get the idea. I think we all what makes us good at what we do is we're trying to always constantly better ourselves. So I think I stand in that world. All right. First of all, I would never get inside a rocket ship and go on a journey to Mars. I'm claustrophobic and I would rather die. So now you know something about me that maybe you didn't know before. So I would need on that ship the most relaxing music ever. I'm thinking, I don't know, Air Supply, the Bee Gees, and maybe one of those albums that has 1,000 tracks on it. Are there any of those albums out there, so I wouldn't get bored listening to the same thing over and over again? There might be something in the Beatles world that's like that, a compilation album of some sort. I'm really at a loss because I'm having a hard time getting past the fact that I would be trapped inside a spaceship for 6 months. That makes me more agitated, and I'm not sure if any music would. Bjork, would she do it? I don't know. Maybe that meditation music, like if you've ever had a massage and that music that makes you kind of fall asleep, or if you're getting acupuncture, that might be it. Musician. Make sure you love it. It's hard work, but if you have a passion for it and you love it, then it's all right. Music is a wonderful way to express yourself without words, and so being made to express myself with words here is a little bit, out of my norm. I'd rather just tell you how I'm feeling by sitting behind an instrument and going at it that way. But make sure you love it, because it's hard work. Harder than most people think. Okay. If I'm in the shower and I'm gonna sing a song, it's probably something pretty rhythmic and I'm gonna hum to myself. But what I'm going to do is I'm gonna take my hands, because I'm a trained percussionist, and I'm gonna start playing everything I can find in the shower that will make a noise. Like a beer can. I don't take those into the shower, but I might play that. Maybe there's something here in front of me that I'll play my head, play my shoulders. It goes on from there. I love the different sounds that you can make, especially with water splashing around on the tiles, anywhere else. And I will find a fun rhythmic song, or I'll make one up, and that's probably my fun place to go. Hey guys, it's been great. Sorry for the scruffiness. Trying to decide whether or not to shave during this time, but I'm gonna keep it kind of casual for right now. Hope to see you out there somewhere. Take care.